The wolf doesn't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, but the sheep, they never stop fearing the wolf. Power isn't given, it's taken. No one hands it to you, no one grants you permission to have it. The strongest forces in history never waited for approval. They stepped forward and claimed their space. And here's the real kicker. Most of them weren't even close to the level of power you hold right now. Scientists have proven that human energy is more than just a presence. It's a force, a field so strong it can change the emotions, thoughts, and even physical state of those around you. They don't just see your power, they feel it, and it rattles them to their core. Ever noticed how some people shift uncomfortably when you enter a room? How they try to downplay you, challenge you, or undermine you in ways that seem almost too subtle to be coincidence? That's not random. That's fear. When someone radiates unshakable, raw energy, those who thrive on weakness, doubt, and control start sweating. They can't put their finger on it, but they know. They see something in you that they don't have, the ability to move without fear, rise without limits, and exist without apology. You think it's just paranoia? They're not just uncomfortable around you, they're threatened. Because here's the truth. The moment you realize what's inside of you, everything changes. The game flips. The same people who tried to ignore you, belittle you, or act like you weren't a force, suddenly start watching your every move, whispering, scrambling to understand what makes you different. But it's too late. They wanted you blind to your own strength, stuck in a cycle of questioning yourself, waiting for validation that was never going to come. Because if you never stepped into your power, they'd never have to deal with the fact that they were never on your level to begin with. But here's where it gets worse for them. You're waking up. And that's their worst nightmare. Because now there's nothing they can do to stop it. So if you're done playing small, if you're ready to step into what you were always meant to be, like this video, drop a comment and subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. They already feel the shift happening, and it terrifies them. And to you, the one who refuses to be ordinary, the one who feels the shift deep inside, this is your moment. Whether you just found this message or you've been walking this path for a while, know this: your power is real, and they know it. If you're ready to step out of the shadows, own your strength, and make them feel what they tried to silence, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop 88 in the comments if you can sense that you're built for something bigger. And now, let's break this down step by step. But be warned, once you hear this, you won't be able to unsee it. If you're truly one of the few, you'll feel the pull to stay till the very end. Let's get started. Number 1. You are the earthquake they never saw coming. They don't hate you for who you are. They hate you because you remind them of everything they're too afraid to be. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to prove anything. Your presence alone is enough to shake the foundation of everything they've built. You don't move like them, think like them, or play by their rules. And that's a threat. They built their world on a fragile structure of predictability, control, and illusion. And you are the earthquake they never saw coming. They need you to fit into their mold, to be small enough to manage, quiet enough to ignore. They have spent their lives creating a system where people like you aren't supposed to exist. And yet, here you are. You walk into a room, and suddenly they feel exposed. They feel weak. Because your energy alone forces them to confront a truth they've been running from. They've been playing small their entire lives. Ever wonder why they try to undermine you? Why they tell you to tone it down? be realistic, or stop acting like you're different. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you make them see their own limits, and they can't handle it. People thrive on predictability. Society thrives on control. The second someone like you steps outside of the script, refuses to play by the unwritten rules, the system starts glitching. You are the glitch in their carefully programmed reality. The part of them that longs for freedom sees you and envies it. The part of them that thrives on control fears it. They try to categorize you, but you don't fit. They try to label you, but none of their words stick. They try to manipulate you, but you refuse to play along. That's why they feel threatened, even when you haven't said or done anything directly to them. Because the truth is, you are doing something. Just by being yourself, you're exposing the biggest lie they've ever believed, that they had to stay small to survive. And that terrifies them. Because if you can walk in unapologetic, free and powerful, what excuse do they have left? They will project their fears onto you. They will call you arrogant, reckless, too much. Not because you are, but because they aren't enough. They'd rather tear you down than rise to meet you. They'd rather clip your wings than admit they were never brave enough to fly. But here's the best part. You don't need their approval. You don't need them to understand. Because whether they accept it or not, you are a force of nature. And nothing terrifies people more than a storm they can't control. Number 2. You are the storm they can't track. A lion doesn't need to announce its next move. The fear is in the silence before the strike. They fear what they don't understand. And you are unpredictable. They can't read you. They can't pin you down. And that alone shakes them to their core. Most people move in loops. They wake up, follow orders, and live their lives by an invisible script they never dared to question. Their entire world is built on routine, control, and knowing what comes next. But you are the glitch in their system. You don't follow the script. You don't respond the way they expect. You don't make it easy for them to put you into a box. That kind of unpredictability, it's terrifying. They thrive on control. Their power depends on knowing what people will do next. But when they look at you, they see something they can't control. They don't know what you're thinking, where you're headed, or how to stop you. And that's why they try so hard to test you, to push you, to force you into a pattern they can understand. If they can predict you, they can control you. But you are not predictable, and that makes you dangerous. Ever noticed how they keep watching you? How they observe your every move, waiting for you to react the way they want you to? But you don't. You don't lash out when provoked. You don't give them an easy target. You don't play their game. And that's when the fear really sets in. True power isn't just about being loud, aggressive, or dominant. Real power is in being unreadable, in keeping people on edge, making them question themselves, making them wonder what's coming next. Because the moment they realize they never had you figured out in the first place, that's when panic sets in. When they can't predict your next move, they can't prepare for it. And if they can't prepare, they can't stop it. That's why they want you to shrink yourself, to fit into their expectations, to follow the rules they've set, because if you do that, you become easier to control. But the second you break free, the moment you stop caring about their labels, their opinions, their expectations, that's when you become untouchable. They thought they had you mapped out. They thought they knew what you were capable of. But now they realize the truth. They never even saw you coming. Number 3. Stop waiting. Take what's yours. The world doesn't respect those who wait. It bows to those who take. Most people will never step into their greatness, not because they aren't capable, but because they're waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for approval, waiting for the perfect moment. But here's the truth. No one is coming to give you permission. Look around. The ones who hold power today, the ones who dominate, who rise, who make an impact, they didn't wait. They didn't sit in the shadows, hoping the world would recognize their potential. They took what was theirs. And the second you do the same, you become a problem for the people who relied on you staying small. They want you stuck in hesitation, doubting yourself, questioning if you're ready, waiting for some invisible green light to tell you it's time. Because as long as you wait, they stay ahead. As long as you second-guess yourself, they don't have to compete with you. But the moment you decide that you don't need anyone's validation to be great, the entire game shifts. Society has conditioned people to believe they must be chosen by a boss, by an institution, by some higher authority to step into power. That's a lie. It's a trap designed to keep you in line, to keep you waiting while others make moves. The truth is, no one is going to give you a seat at the table. If you want power, if you want respect, if you want success, you take it. That's why they don't like it when you start thinking for yourself, when you speak with authority without asking if you're too loud, when you take up space without wondering if you deserve it, when you stop apologizing for wanting more. It unsettles them because they need permission to feel worthy, but you don't. And that makes you dangerous, unpredictable, a threat to everything they built their fragile identities on. So they'll try to humble you, to plant doubt in your mind, to make you feel like you aren't ready, like you don't belong, like you need to earn your place before stepping up. It's a game, and if you believe them, you lose. You'll hesitate, overthink, and hold yourself back just long enough for them to get ahead. But if you refuse to play, if you simply decide that you are already ready, then nothing, not their doubts, their opinions, or their rules, can stop you, because the moment you recognize your own power, it becomes real. And once that happens, they have no choice but to watch you rest up. Number 4. Your presence exposes their weaknesses, and they can't handle it. A lion does not concern itself with the opinion of sheep, but the sheep, they tremble when the lion walks by. There's a reason people react so strongly to you, and it has nothing to do with what you've done. It's about what you represent. You don't just exist. You remind them of everything they could be, but chose not to be. Every dream they abandoned, every risk they were too afraid to take, every version of themselves they buried under fear, doubt, and excuses. And rather than face that truth, they take the easy way out. They project. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it comes in the form of subtle jabs, dismissive comments, or fake compliments laced with resentment. You think you're better than everyone. Why are you trying so hard? Must be nice to have that confidence. But make no mistake, what they're really saying is, I see something in you that I wish I had in myself. They don't attack mediocrity. They don't resent people who blend in, stay quiet and follow the crowd. No, their frustration is reserved for those who challenge the limits they've placed on themselves. That's why you stand out. That's why they can't ignore you. You are a mirror, one they can't look away from. When they see you rise, they see every excuse they ever made. When they watch you push forward, they're forced to question why they chose to stay stuck. And that makes them uncomfortable. Because deep down, they know the truth. They had the same chances, but they never had the courage. So instead of stepping up, they try to bring you down. Instead of fixing themselves, they fixate on you. If they can shake your confidence, they won't have to deal with their own failures. If they can make you doubt yourself, they can avoid questioning why they never dared to break free. But that's not your problem. Their insecurities are not your burden to carry. You don't owe anyone comfort at the expense of your own power. You don't have to play small so they can feel big. The ones who are ready to grow will be inspired by you. The ones who aren't will be intimidated. Either way, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So let them talk, let them whisper, let them project their fear onto you, because while they waste their energy trying to dim your light, you're too busy setting the whole world on fire. Keep going, keep rising, and let them deal with themselves. Number 5. The moment they speak your name, you've already won. A lion doesn't concern itself with the opinion of sheep, but the sheep, they can't stop talking about the lion. Chosen one, understand this. You have already won the moment they start whispering your name. You don't have to lift a finger. The fact that they feel the need to talk about you, to discredit you, to turn others against you, that alone proves you are a force they can't ignore. Weak people don't waste energy on things that don't matter. They don't attack what they don't see as a threat. They don't gossip about the invisible. If they're spending their time obsessing over you, it's because deep down, they know your power is real. They see you rising, unshaken, unapologetic, and it triggers them in ways they don't even understand. But here's where it gets funny. The more they talk, the more power they give you. Every time they mention your name, they spread your influence. Every attempt to bring you down builds you up. It's the paradox they can't escape. The harder they try to erase you, the more permanent you become. They will twist your words. They will paint you as arrogant, lucky, or undeserving, not because any of it is true, but because they need it to be true. If they admit that you're actually powerful, that you earned what you have, that you are simply operating on a level they never dared to reach, they will have to face their own weaknesses. And most people would rather live in denial than deal with that level of truth. This is why they fixate on you instead of fixing themselves. This is why they try to drag you down instead of climbing higher. Because it's easier to attack what they fear than to face their own reflection. But while they're spending their days watching you, hating you, analyzing your every move, you are too busy winning to care. You are moving, creating, growing. You are expanding beyond their reach. And the more they try to pull you back, the further ahead you get. So let them talk. Let them spread your name like wildfire. Let them make you even bigger than you already are. Because their hatred is just another form of attention. Their jealousy is just another form of admission. Their obsession with you, that's just proof that they feel your power and they don't know what to do with it. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to explain yourself. Their reaction alone is all the proof you need. You've already won. Number 6. Stop chasing approval. Make them respect you or fear you. The moment you stop caring if they like you, you become someone they can't ignore, and that terrifies them. Most people are trapped in the need to be liked. They bend, shrink, and shape themselves to fit into whatever mold gets them approval. They soften their words, second-guess their actions, and hold back their ambitions, all to stay in the good graces of people who wouldn't hesitate to throw them aside if it became convenient. But here's the harsh truth. Approval is a leash, and the ones who seek it will always be controlled. This is why those who hold real power don't chase popularity. They chase respect, or better yet, dominance. Because respect is built on something solid. Popularity, that's just an illusion. People will smile to your face while secretly hoping you fail. They will pat you on the back while silently envying the strength they wish they had. But respect, that's different. Respect forces people to acknowledge your value, even if they don't like you. Look at history. The most powerful figures weren't loved by everyone. Many were hated, feared, misunderstood, but they were undeniable. They weren't focused on being accepted. They were focused on making an impact. And when you operate on that level, you will upset people. And that's a good thing. You don't need everyone to like you. In fact, if too many people like you, it probably means you aren't standing for anything real. Because the moment you step into your power, start speaking the truth, and move in a way that disrupts the system, weak people will resist you. They will talk about you, try to discredit you, try to humble you, not because you're wrong, but because your existence challenges everything they thought was true. But here's where it gets interesting. The right people will take notice. The ones who operate on a higher level, who recognize strength, who don't live in fear, they will respect you even if they don't admit it. They will see your value even if it threatens their own. And that's when you become untouchable. The second you stop trying to win people over, you start moving differently. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your choices. You stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable. And that's when real power kicks in. Let them misunderstand you. Let them dislike you. Let them talk. Because at the end of the day, their approval is worthless. Their respect. That shifts things. That makes you unstoppable. Number 7. You speak power. They speak fear. A lion doesn't explain itself to sheep. It just moves and they tremble. They don't misunderstand you because you're wrong. They misunderstand you because you don't even speak the same language. You operate on a frequency they can't tune into. You speak in movement, execution, and action. They speak in fear, hesitation, and self-imposed limits. It's not a miscommunication. It's a disconnect. When you say, "Let's make it happen," they say, "But what if it doesn't work?" When you ask, "What's the next step?" they ask, "What's the safest option?" When you move, they freeze. When you build, they doubt. That's why they look at you like you're reckless, unrealistic, or too much. Not because you actually are, but because your mindset exposes their limits. Your drive forces them to confront their own stagnation. And instead of rising to meet you, they try to pull you back down, back to a place where your speed doesn't make them uncomfortable, where your ambition doesn't remind them of their wasted potential. They are stuck in loops, repeating the same doubts, the same excuses, the same tired stories they tell themselves about why they can't break free. And nothing disturbs them more than watching someone like you, someone who refuses to stay trapped. Ever notice how people who fear action always have the most to say? They'll tell you to slow down, to be careful, to think it through, not because they care about your success, but because they can't handle watching you move past them. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into the small world they built for themselves. If they don't understand your moves, let them stay confused. If they misinterpret your drive, let them think whatever makes them comfortable. You were never meant to sit at their table, listening to the same tired conversations about fear, failure, and what-ifs. You have things to build, places to conquer, and a future to own. And here's the thing about real power. It recognizes itself. The ones who are meant to move like you, they won't question your speed. They won't call you reckless. They'll hear your words, see your vision, and instantly understand. Because real ones don't need explanations. They speak the same language. Number 8. The most dangerous weapon is silence. A lion doesn't turn around when a dog barks. Power isn't just in what you say, it's in what you don't say. The loudest person in the room is rarely the one in control. The ones who command true respect, the ones who shape reality itself. They understand the power of restraint. They know when to speak, and more importantly, when to say nothing at all. The weak argue. The weak explain. The weak waste energy trying to prove themselves to people who were never meant to understand them. And every time they do, they give away a piece of their power. When you respond to every insult, every rumor, every attempt to provoke you, you're playing their game. You're giving them something to work with, something to twist, something to manipulate. But when you say nothing, they have nothing. Silence is a weapon. It forces them to question themselves, to wonder what you're thinking, to scramble for a response that never comes. It makes them uneasy because they can't control what they don't understand. They expect you to react, to get defensive, to explain yourself, to meet them on their level. But the second you do that, they win. Because now you're playing by their rules. But the truly powerful, they don't play those games. They let their presence speak louder than any words ever could. Silence commands attention in a way noise never could. A room will always listen to the one who speaks the least, but moves the smartest. The second you realize you don't owe anyone an explanation, that not every comment needs a response, not every insult needs an answer, not every rumor needs a defense, you step into a whole new level of power, and it drives them insane. They will try everything to break that silence. They will push, they will provoke, they will try to get any kind of reaction out of you, because the moment you engage, they have control. But the second you refuse to be dragged into their game, that's when the real panic sets in. That's when they realize they never had power over you to begin with. The most dangerous person in the room is not the one speaking the loudest. It's the one watching, waiting, calculating. The one whose silence carries more weight than 1,000 words. And once you master that, you become untouchable. Number 9. You are the glitch in their system, and it shakes them to their core. The moment you refuse to play by their rules, you become the proof that the game was never real. People love rules, not just the laws written in books, but the unspoken rules, the ones they cling to like lifelines, the ones that tell them success must be earned a certain way. That power is only given to those who wait their turn. That stepping out of line is dangerous. These rules keep them comfortable. They provide a sense of order, a way to justify why they never pushed harder, why they never broke free. Then you come along. You move differently. You succeed without waiting for permission. You walk into places they were told they'd never reach, without asking if you're allowed to be there. You prove that everything they believed was just an illusion. And that shakes them to their core. They spent years convincing themselves that they were playing the only game that existed. Work hard, follow the path, stay inside the lines. Then here you are, coloring outside their lines, making your own rules and winning anyway. And that terrifies them, because if you can do it, then what does that say about them? If you didn't need to follow their script to succeed, then maybe, just maybe, the script was never real to begin with. And that's the truth they can't handle. So they scramble, they try to explain it away. They call you lucky, say you had an unfair advantage, Whisper that you must have cheated the system somehow, because the alternative, the idea that you simply saw through the illusion while they stayed trapped in it, is too much for them to bear. It's not hatred they feel toward you, it's fear. Fear that they wasted years playing by rules that never mattered. Fear that they could have done more, been more, but didn't. Fear that everything they thought they knew was nothing more than a cage they willingly stepped into. So they lash out. They try to bring you down, minimize your success, twist the narrative to make it seem like you don't deserve what you have. But deep down, they know. You are the exception, the living, breathing proof that the limits they accepted were self-imposed, that playing it safe was never necessary, that nothing was truly stopping them, except themselves. And once one person proves the rules were never real, everyone has to start questioning everything they thought they knew. And that, chosen one, is why they fear you. Because the moment you break free, you show the whole world that they can too. Number 10. You see through the smoke, and that makes you dangerous. The greatest weapon against control is awareness. The moment you see the game, you stop being a pawn. Most people are asleep, not physically, but mentally, programmed to follow a script, locked inside an invisible cage they don't even know exists. They wake up, go through the motions, chase things that mean nothing and obey rules that were never designed to benefit them. They live under the illusion that success is about seeking approval, fitting in, following the path they were given. But that's a lie they never dared to question. But you see through it, and that makes you dangerous. You're not fooled by their distractions. You don't waste your time chasing empty validation. You don't fall for the false rewards they dangle in front of the weak, the titles, the approval, the illusion of security. You see the game for what it is. Even worse, you know how to win it. And that terrifies them. Because people like you can't be manipulated. You're not controlled by the fear they use to keep everyone else in line. You don't wait for permission. You don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You don't need their green light to move forward. That makes you a problem, not just for individuals, but for entire systems. The truth is, the world isn't built for people like you. It's built for those who comply, who follow blindly, who never think beyond what they've been told. And when someone like you refuses to play along, it exposes the entire system for the lie that it is. That's why they try so hard to shut you down, discredit you, make you doubt yourself. They'll say you're unrealistic, that you're reckless, that you don't know what you're talking about. Not because it's true, but because they need it to be true. Because if you're right, then that means they've been wrong their entire lives. And admitting that's too much for them to handle. But here's the part they fear the most. Once you fully step into your power, others will see it too. All it takes is one person who refuses to follow the script to make others question everything. One person to break the cycle, to prove that the rules were never real. And the second people stop believing in the game, the entire system collapses. That's why they fight so hard to keep you blind. Because they know, if you ever stop doubting yourself, if you ever truly own what you are, they lose. The illusion shatters, and you become unstoppable. Number 11. The higher you rise, the harder it is for them to breathe. Not everyone is built for the climb. Some are only meant to watch from below and wonder what it feels like to fly. Chosen ones, listen carefully. The higher you rise, the more you will notice something. The air gets thinner. The people around you start dropping off, fading into the background. Relationships shift. Conversations feel different, and at first you may wonder if you're the one who changed. But the truth? It's not you, it's them. They were never meant to breathe at this altitude. Success, power, and self-mastery demand something most people don't have: endurance. Not everyone is built to handle the pressure, the solitude, and the discipline it takes to keep moving forward. Some people love the idea of greatness, but they don't have the strength to walk the path. And when they see you doing what they couldn't, that's when the resentment kicks in. At first, it feels personal. You wonder why people who once supported you now seem distant, why friends who once celebrated you now stay quiet, why suddenly your progress makes people uncomfortable. But understand this: it's not a flaw in the system, it's the design. Growth is the ultimate filter. The people who can't handle the weight of elevation were never meant to go all the way with you. Some will get jealous. Some will find excuses to pull away. Some will try to keep you reachable, subtly guilt-tripping you for wanting more. They want you to slow down so they don't feel left behind. But here's the thing: you don't owe them comfort at the cost of your own evolution. Not everyone is addicted to progress. Some people are addicted to comfort, to mediocrity, to distractions that keep them stagnant. They fear change, they fear effort, and most of all, they fear what your success forces them to confront. The fact that they had the same chance to rise, but they chose not to. And so they make their choice. They step back, they create distance, and you keep moving. The loneliness at the top isn't a punishment. It's proof that you didn't stop. It's proof that you chose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, purpose over popularity. And the best part, the ones who truly belong at the top will find you there. The real ones, the rare ones, the few who understand what it takes to keep pushing forward. So let them go. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Your journey isn't for everyone, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. Number 12. They plant doubt because they fear what you're becoming. They don't need to chain you. They just need you to question if you can walk free. Doubt is their weapon of choice. They don't have to push you down or physically stop you. No, that would be too obvious. Instead, they make you stop yourself. A whisper here, a glance there, a carefully placed question disguised as concern. Are you sure you're ready for this? What if it doesn't work? People like us don't usually make it that far. These aren't innocent words. They are calculated attacks, psychological warfare, fear disguised as advice. And if they can make you doubt yourself just for a moment, that's all it takes. Because hesitation, that's the first step toward failure. They have spent their entire lives convincing themselves that power is reserved for a select few, that confidence is arrogance, that taking risks is reckless, that success is about waiting for permission. Then you come along, breaking every rule they've built their fragile reality around. You refuse to wait. You refuse to ask. You refuse to shrink. You are proof that limits are illusions. And that terrifies them. Because if you are right, that means they were wrong all along. It means they could have been more, done more, become more. And instead of accepting that truth, they do the only thing weak minds know how to do. They try to pull you back down. This is why imposter syndrome creeps in. Not because you don't belong, but because you're stepping into something real, something most people don't have the courage to face. The weight you feel isn't your own. It's the weight of their fears, their regrets, their failures, trying to anchor you back to where they feel safe. But you don't owe them safety. You don't owe them comfort. You don't owe them anything. Recognize what's happening. See it for what it is. Doubt is not your voice. It's theirs. The second you stop seeking their approval, the second you stop wondering if you're allowed to step into your power, you become unstoppable. So let them whisper. Let them project their insecurities onto you. Let them drown in their own illusions. You have a different path. And while they waste time doubting you, you're already too far ahead for them to catch up. Number 13. The one who fears nothing controls everything. A lion doesn't concern itself with the opinions of sheep, and a warrior doesn't hesitate when stepping into battle. The only ones who truly hold power are those who are ready to lose everything, because they know they'll build even more. Power isn't about having the most money, the loudest voice, or the highest status. Those things are just illusions, shiny objects designed to trap people into thinking they've made it. But real power, it comes from one thing: a complete lack of fear. And the most dangerous person in any room is the one who isn't afraid to lose. Look around you. Most people are ruled by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing the little bit of comfort they've managed to cling to. Even the so-called powerful ones, the ones with titles, influence, and status, are just as trapped as the rest. Because they don't move to win, they move to not lose. They play defense, they hoard, they tiptoe around risk, terrified that one wrong move could bring it all crashing down. And that's exactly why they never truly rise. They sit on their thrones, clutching their crowns, hoping no one stronger comes along to take what they have. But you play a different game. You don't hold on to things like they do. You're not afraid to step forward, to make moves, to risk it all, because you know something they don't. Freedom is the real power. When you stop fearing loss, you become unpredictable. You do things they wouldn't dare to do. You take chances that seem insane to people who are still shackled by their own fears. They don't understand you. They can't figure out why you're not desperate for validation, why you don't hesitate like they do, why rejection, failure, or setbacks don't break you. And that makes you a nightmare for them. Because the truth is, fear is the only weapon they have. Fear of losing status, fear of being rejected, fear of failing. And you've already destroyed their entire playbook, because none of it affects you. While they're busy clinging to what they have, trying to hold on, trying to protect, you're out there building, expanding, taking shots, and making plays. And sure, sometimes you'll lose, but you'll keep moving, keep rebuilding, keep evolving. And while they're stuck in the same place, you'll be 10 steps ahead, unreachable. You want to know what makes someone unstoppable? It's the moment they stop needing to protect what they have at the cost of what they could become. Detach from fear. Let go of the illusion that safety means power. Because the second you do, no one can touch you, no one can break you, and no one, no matter how hard they try, can ever control you. Number 14. You are the storm they can't escape. They don't fear you because you follow the rules. They fear you because you never needed them in the first place. They want you contained, predictable, easy to handle. They want you to be like them, playing it safe, avoiding risk, staying small enough to manage. But you were never built for that. You weren't made to tiptoe around their comfort. You weren't meant to shrink yourself just to make them feel secure. You are not the shelter. You are the storm. You don't ask for permission to exist. You don't wait for approval to move. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you refuse to be controlled, It shakes them to their core. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. Your presence alone is enough to disrupt their illusion of control. And that makes you dangerous to them. Storms don't apologize. They don't slow down for the weak, and they don't adjust their power to make others feel safe. They destroy what needs to be destroyed. They clear the old, the weak, the outdated, and make room for something stronger. And that's exactly what you do. They try to make you doubt yourself, tell you to calm down, to be careful, to think about how your actions affect others. But let's be real, they don't actually care about your well-being. What they care about is control. They want to clip your wings, make you doubt your own strength, keep you questioning yourself just long enough for them to stay ahead. But they don't get it. You weren't made to be controlled. You weren't made to be silent. You weren't made to fit into their fragile world. You were made to shatter it. Some will fear you. Some will try to fight you. Some will pretend you don't exist, hoping you'll fade away. But here's the truth. The ones who fear the storm are the ones who built their lives around things too weak to survive the wind. Let them run. Let them hold on to their illusions. They were never meant to rise with you. Because the ones who are strong enough, they'll recognize your energy the moment they feel it. They won't fight it. They won't fear it. They'll rise with you. Power isn't about being the loudest or the most accepted. It's about knowing who you are, refusing to shrink, and moving with a force that no one can ignore. It's about breaking the rules that were never real in the first place. It's about stepping into the version of yourself most people are too afraid to become. You don't need permission, you don't need validation, and you definitely don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them project their fears onto you. None of it matters. The truth remains, you are not like them. You don't move out of fear. You don't chase approval. And because of that, you are a force that cannot be controlled. They feel it, even if they don't admit it. They see it, even if they pretend not to. And deep down, they know. You weren't put here to fit in. You were put here to change everything. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them question you. Let them fall away. Because you are rising, and the air gets thinner at the top. Not everyone is built for it. But you are. Keep moving. Keep disrupting. Keep becoming. Because the second you stop seeking their approval, the second you fully embrace who you were meant to be, you become unstoppable. And if this message hit different, if you feel it in your bones, then don't keep it to yourself. Like, comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. If you're ready for more raw, unfiltered truth, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because this is just the beginning. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It needs more people like you. More people who break the rules, shake the system, and step into their power. If that's you, stick around. Your time is now. And that's the truth. They feel your power, even if they won't admit it. They try to ignore it, suppress it, and contain it. But deep down, they know you were never meant to be controlled. The more you rise, the more they fear you. But that's not your problem. It's theirs. Keep moving forward. Keep breaking their illusions. Because once you embrace who you are, no one can stop you. If this hit you deep, drop 77 in the comments, like, and share this with someone who needs it. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning.